Hi guys, long time no talk. I haven't uploaded in like 3 weeks or so, but I had to take some time off to deal with some stuff, which I obviously will be talking about in this video, and that's probably the title of this video. So let's just get into it. Sorry for my absence, but I really just wasn't in the place to film videos. And sorry, I look like so professional right now. I'm about to go to work, so that's why I'm wearing this getup. I just don't have any other time in the day to film a sit-down video. So, with that being said, let's just get into it. So as the title of the video said, I did have a miscarriage. So basically, let's just start from the beginning. Jesse and I started to like try, I would say like May, but really June. I had to find out whether I passed the bar. So it ended up being like June-ish that we actually were like trying. I was like tracking my ovulation and stuff like that using like an app and whatever. So June was the first month that we actually were tracking, and it's like kind of weird to like say try to get pregnant because you all know what I mean, but like tracking and doing it with the purpose of getting pregnant. And I actually did get pregnant in June, so it didn't take long, which was really exciting, and I was really happy because if you've watched me for a while, you know I had an ectopic pregnancy in 2019, which was caused by an IUD. It wasn't like spontaneous, but that resulted in me losing, I think it was my right fallopian tube. So I had always assumed, and my doctor had told me, like, it may take longer for you to get pregnant. When you do try, it's not going to be impossible, but it could take longer because, you only have one fallopian tube. So that's kind of why we started so early, considering, we're getting married in like 3 weeks now, because I for sure thought I wouldn't get pregnant until like July, August, September. I thought it would take a while, but I got pregnant right away, which was really lucky because I know it doesn't happen that way for a lot of women, or people, I should say. So I just am opening my app so I have like a better timeline here. So basically you track pregnancy from your last missed period. So I was technically pregnant as of like May. So I had my first doctor's appointment. Okay, so I had my first doctor's appointment on the 7th of June. So I was in my tracking, I was like 6 weeks pregnant then. And I went to the doctor, Jesse and I went to the doctor, and they did an ultrasound, and I could see the baby. It's like the size of like a poppy seed, it doesn't look like anything, but it had all the right components to it. She could see the heartbeat, but she couldn't hear it. And she said that's pretty normal for being 6 weeks, but she did say I was measuring small, that it looked about at 5 weeks instead of 6. And when she said that, she sounded like concerned. She did say it's kind of normal for being so early that it's small or that your dates are off or whatever, but she sounded concerned, so I felt very concerned, and I was just worried after that. I couldn't get excited. We didn't buy anything for the baby, obviously, because I was so early, but I couldn't get excited after that. And from that appointment on, I kind of felt like something was weird or wrong, but I had full pregnancy symptoms. My HCG was high, whatever. I was so, like, my boobs were so sore. I was tired. I had headaches, cramps, back pains, like the whole 9 yards. I had every pregnancy symptom under the book, and I continued to have them. I didn't feel any decrease in them. I didn't feel like less pregnant or anything. So she made me a follow-up appointment for the following Friday. It was with a different doctor, but just to do another ultrasound to make sure it had grown. So that Friday, Jesse and I went to the appointment, and just sitting there, like, I felt like something was already wrong. Like, I just didn't have a good feeling in my stomach. And when the doctor came in, Jesse said, like, the doctor kind of looked like something was already wrong. Like, it just wasn't going to be good news. We felt it. So he did the ultrasound. He puts in the whatever it's called, probe, I don't really know what it's called. And immediately he's just kind of unenthused. I don't know, like he could tell something was wrong, and I'm like craning my neck to see the screen, and when they're putting the thing around, whenever you can see the baby, it sort of measures it and it says on the screen. So I saw that it still said 5 weeks, 3 days or something. And at that point, I should have been turning almost 8 weeks. I changed weeks on Sunday, so I was almost 8 weeks at that point. So obviously the baby hadn't grown, and was no heartbeat. So the ultrasound lasted all of 60 seconds. He took it out and he was like, yeah, so the baby hasn't grown. It doesn't have a heartbeat. So we need to talk about your options. Like, it was just very point blank, very medical and cold in my opinion. And I get it. These doctors do this like all the time. So to them, it's like a routine thing. But obviously for us, it was very, not routine and not expected. So it was hard to hear. And after that, I just kind of checked out. Like, I wasn't listening. He was talking about my options as to how to like have a miscarriage. I had what's called a missed miscarriage. So that's when the baby stops growing, the heart stops beating, but your body doesn't expel the pregnancy. So you have options of either waiting for her to naturally miscarriage, you can take a medication, or you can get a D&C. So he explained all the options, and Jesse and I knew that we wanted to, try to get pregnant as soon as possible after, safely, obviously, but I didn't want to wait for the miscarriage to happen. He's like, that could take a week, it could take 2 weeks, it could take a while, and then you don't know when it's going to happen. So there's obviously benefits and negatives to each of these options. So I'm not even going to go into all of them because I'm not a doctor and I don't know. But I ended up opting for the D&C just because it would be the quickest and the least painful and least traumatic in my opinion. So they scheduled the D&C for that following Wednesday. So after that appointment on Friday to Wednesday, my pregnancy symptoms decreased dramatically. My boobs are still sore, but they weren't like awful like they were. I wasn't really nauseous as much. The only things that continued to linger on was my smell was so strong, and I had so many food aversions. Well, then I had the D&C on Wednesday. So basically you go to the hospital or wherever. Mine was like an ambulatory center. I was put under full anesthesia, and I don't know if that's for everyone, if all doctors do that. Maybe mine was just trying to spare me some of the trauma that comes along with it. So I was laying in a bed, kind of waiting for the doctor. They come by. He didn't really even explain the procedure. He didn't explain anything. I knew what was going to happen just because I looked it up. But they put you under anesthesia. You wake up and it's done. After the procedure, I had really, really bad cramps that day and the following day. But after that, I pretty much physically felt fine. All of my pregnancy symptoms had pretty much immediately gone away after the surgery. I felt physically fine after like 2 days. But mentally, I really wasn't fine, and I'm still definitely trying to work through it. I mean, I'm so glad that we didn't announce. I was planning to wait until 8 to 12 weeks to announce. I know I wanted to announce before our wedding just because I obviously would be drinking and I didn't want to deal with people bombarding me to drink. We only told our really immediate family and friends. And I'm glad we did that because after you tell people, you kind of have to tell them you had a miscarriage, and telling everyone was hard because, everyone texts you and feels bad and wants updates, and it's the last thing on this planet Earth I wanted to do was talk about it. So I'm really glad we didn't announce online. And I mean, that's the whole story. Now it's 2 weeks after, and I take pregnancy tests in the morning every other day just to make sure my HCG is going down. If you have the non-digital test, you can see the line gets so much lighter, and that means the levels are going down. And the line is almost invisible now, which is a good thing if you are trying to get pregnant again and whatever. So I'm supposed to be getting another blood test again soon to see what my levels are, to see, how much longer I have until I'm at 0 so I can get pregnant again. But overall, it was a very traumatic experience, and I'm definitely changing doctors after this. I just feel absolutely no support was offered. I asked for HCG tests after my first ultrasound because I could just tell something was wrong, and she was like, well, no, an ultrasound at this point is pretty much the most accurate way, which I understand. But I just feel like all along I was asking, like, should I get a test? You know, should I take a supplement? Should I take this? Should I take that? Or should I do this? And it was like no answers were given, no support was given. And I just really want to find a doctor next time who like answers questions and is there to help rather than just does an ultrasound and leaves. So that is everything that happened. I'm definitely still dealing with it mentally. It's really hard to talk about or to think about. And it's even harder now, like when I get pregnant again, it's technically like my third pregnancy. You know, the first one was ectopic and not planned. Obviously, I had an IUD. And this one was planned and it ended in a miscarriage. So next time that I go to the doctor and I'm pregnant, it's technically my third pregnancy, but I have no children. So that's a hard reality to face. And it's hard to think about because I'm like, oh, today I would have been like 10 weeks and I could have been, you know, getting all this baby stuff. And I see all these people I followed on Instagram or TikTok who were pregnant or just had gotten pregnant around the same time I did, and they're still pregnant and I'm not. And it's just difficult. And I feel like, you know, friends and family obviously want you to feel better and be happy and whatever, but that's like next to impossible to do right away. And even though I found out almost 3 weeks ago, I mean, the baby stopped growing at 5 weeks. So really it's been like 5 weeks since the baby has been growing and 3 weeks since it had a heartbeat and 2 weeks since I've had the D&C. Like mentally, I'm very much so aware that I'm not pregnant. I don't wake up in the morning anymore thinking, oh, and then being disappointed, but it's still hard to think about the what ifs and then think about, well, how long is it going to take to get pregnant this time? Is it going to take a while? Is the next pregnancy going to be healthy and last? And there's just so many what ifs. We did send the baby, whatever you want to call it, for genetic testing so we know the reason that we had a miscarriage. The doctor said in your first trimester, especially like the first few weeks, most are just because of chromosomal abnormalities, meaning that it just wasn't compatible for life for whatever reason, but it wasn't like one of the partners isn't healthy. It's just the way sperm and egg, you know, whatever chromosomes they carried, it wasn't compatible for life. So we're obviously hoping that's what the case is. We won't know for a while. He said that genetic testing can take some time. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say that won't cause me to cry, because I don't want to cry on camera. Physically, now, today, I feel fine. I don't feel pregnant at all. I'm back to my normal size. I was so bloated when I was pregnant. That's one of your first symptoms as well. I was so bloated. Oh my God, I could not fit into anything. Mentally, I'm definitely still working through it. It's not as bad as it was last week, and it's not as bad as it was yesterday. Every day I feel a little bit better. But it's still unfortunate, especially at night and on the weekends. That's a weird noise. I feel like on Sundays I had this new routine of like, you know, I would go to Target, I would go food shopping, I would, you know, go on walks and be active and be healthy and do all these things and like take a shower and use all these lotions and stuff to not get stretch marks. And now I'm just like, well, back to square one of regular life. And that's really hard for me because I felt like so much happier and better mentally when I was pregnant. Not to say I was, you know, something was wrong beforehand, but I just felt so much happier and I felt like more complete. And now I'm like, I hate when cars are that loud. But now I'm back to like feeling I'm missing something. And that is also hard and going to take me a while to get over. And there's a lot of other things I could say, but I don't really want to make this video of me crying and just post it. But just know, like, miscarriage is really unfortunately common. I found so much solace in watching other people's miscarriage videos. And another thing that I recommend is if you haven't any like pregnancy apps, so you're watching this right now and you had a miscarriage, I used what to expect. If you go into your settings, you can post, or you can change it to you lost the pregnancy, and it switches into like grieving mode. So your main page is all resources for miscarriage, and then you can join groups in the community forums about like pregnancy after a loss, miscarriage support, grief and loss, trying to get pregnant after a miscarriage. And I really like that because it's nice to know and have other people to talk to that are going through the exact same thing at the same time as you. And also you don't get the constant email updates like, oh, your baby's the size of a whatever today. I mean, nothing is as horrifying as opening your email to like a bye-bye baby coupon or a pregnancy update when you're not pregnant. So I really suggest changing your apps to that. And I found that to be really helpful and just like made me feel better in the moment when I changed it, just to see like the resources. And thank you to everyone who has DM'd me and sent me messages just like wishing me well, although you didn't know what was going on. You still were really nice. And then another thing I have to say, and I feel like in 2021 I shouldn't have to say this anymore, but please don't DM people saying, oh, are you pregnant? Because as I was posting my like pictures of the flowers, like I won't be posting a video this week, just dealing with some stuff, I got a few messages like, oh my God, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Reading that sent me into like a spiral of tears. So if you ever think someone's pregnant, whether it's your friend, your sister, or an influencer or a blogger or whatever, don't ask them if they're pregnant, because first of all, if they are, they're probably waiting to announce, and they're not just going to tell this random person in their DMs, oh yeah, I'm pregnant, and that's how they're going to announce. So what's the point of that? Second of all, they could be dealing with infertility issues and that sends them on a spiral. Or third, they could have a miscarriage like me and send them on a spiral again. So if you think someone's pregnant, keep it to yourself and wait until they tell you, especially if it's someone you don't know, even if it's someone you know in real life. Don't ask, because that was so hard to read, and I honestly don't go through my DMs anymore ever since I saw those, because it's just really hard for me. And there was a shocking amount, considering I never said on my channel like, oh, we're going to try to have a baby soon, whatever. I really kept it private, and I will continue to keep it private. It's not something I'm ever going to be like, oh, I know some women or people do videos, oh, I'm 1 day past ovulation, like they do videos like that, and it's great for them, and I like to watch those, but I won't do it. I really like to keep that part of my life private, because dealing with the questions, oh, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Like that hurts, and I can't deal with that the first time around or the coming next few times that I'll be pregnant, hopefully. I would say I hope you enjoyed this video, but I hope you didn't enjoy it, because I didn't enjoy it. I just really had to post this update because I kind of left you in the dust for a few weeks. And I did vlog on Sunday. That was my first time vlogging in weeks. And I will post it. It's a little depressing, I will say. I'm trying to film videos again, but it's hard. But now that I feel like I can talk about it in my videos, it won't be as hard. I mean, when I was pregnant, I feel like I was leaving out 50% of my life when I was vlogging, so I obviously wasn't telling anyone, but now that you guys know I had a miscarriage, I feel like at least I can talk about that. On that note, I'm going to end the video here because I do have to go to work. Again, thank you so much for all your well wishes. I can't respond to everyone, but thank you. They don't go unnoticed, even though right now I'm not currently reading DMs. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you had a miscarriage and you're watching this, just know it'll take some time, but you will eventually feel better. Like, I can't even look through my camera roll because like the way we announced to my family and Jesse's family, like I have pictures of the way we did it, and I'm not going to show you because we may still do it the same way next time, but I still have pictures of that, and it just makes me so sad. And I have like pictures of my pregnancy tests, and it's just sad. But every day it gets a little easier to get through the day. But thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope that explains my absence, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye.